Welcome back, dear listeners, to the ever-deepening shadows of Bram Stoker's Dracula. We now reach Chapter 10, Mina Murray's Journal, a chapter that stands at the painful crossroads of hope and horror. Mina has only just begun her married life with Jonathan in the safety of Exeter, yet her heart is pulled relentlessly back to her dying friend Lucy Westenra. In these entries, we witness the full weight of Mina's devotion, the desperate medical struggle to save Lucy, and the first faint cracks appearing in the rational world of science as something ancient and supernatural tightens its grip. Let us sit beside Mina at the bedside and feel every beat of this heartbreaking chapter. 1st September. Mina opens her journal with a heavy heart. She and Jonathan are settled in Exeter, trying to rebuild their life together after the nightmare of Transylvania. Jonathan is gaining strength daily, his mind clearer, though the gray streaks in his hair remain as silent witnesses to what he endured. Mina has typed a clean copy of his journal and locked the original away, honoring the promise she made on their wedding day. Yet peace is impossible. Letters from Arthur Holmwood arrive almost daily, each more desperate than the last. Lucy is sinking fast. The doctors are baffled. Dr. John Seward has taken charge of the case and has already performed 2 blood transfusions, first his own blood, then Arthur's. Each time, Lucy seems to rally for a few hours, only to slip back into dangerous weakness. Arthur writes that he would give every drop of blood in his body if it could save her. Mina feels torn in two. She longs to rush to Lucy's side at Hillingham, but Jonathan still needs her care. She writes with quiet anguish, "My poor dear Lucy, how I suffer for her. If only I could be with her now. Jonathan is so good and patient, yet every letter from Arthur makes my heart bleed. God grant that she may yet be spared." September 2. A telegram arrives that decides everything. Arthur wires in desperation, "Lucy worse, come at once if you can. Seward says another transfusion may be needed. Pray for us." Mina kisses Jonathan goodbye with tears in her eyes and takes the first train to London. When she reaches Hillingham, the grand house feels like a tomb. Lucy lies in her bed like a beautiful wax figure, skin almost translucent, lips bloodless, eyes sunken and ringed with purple shadows. The 2 tiny punctures on her throat have reopened slightly and look raw and inflamed. Dr. Seward is there, grave and exhausted. He explains the transfusions in careful medical terms, but Mina can hear the helplessness beneath his professional calm. Arthur Holmwood sits by the bed, hollow-eyed with grief and sleeplessness. He has given blood twice already and looks ready to collapse. That night, with Mina keeping vigil, Lucy suffers another crisis. Her breathing becomes shallow and gasping. Dr. Seward decides a 3rd transfusion is necessary. This time, Quincy P. Morris, the brave Texan who also proposed to Lucy, offers his blood without hesitation. "Take it all if it will help the little lady," he says in his warm American drawl. The transfusion is performed by lamplight. Mina watches in silent awe as these 3 strong, noble men pour their life force into her friend. For a few precious hours, Lucy revives. Color returns faintly to her cheeks, and she smiles weakly at Arthur, calling him her true knight. But Mina notices something that chills her to the bone. While the men sleep exhausted in the next room, she sits alone with Lucy. The wounds on her throat seem to pulse faintly. Outside the window, in the moonlight, she hears the soft, leathery flapping of wings. The bat has returned. Lucy murmurs in her sleep, "His red eyes, they are watching. He calls me." Mina writes with trembling hand, "I dare not tell the others what I suspect. They would think me mad, as Jonathan feared he was mad. Yet I know in my heart that something unholy is draining my dear Lucy's life away, night after night." 3rd September. The battle continues. Lucy is given stimulants and careful nursing, but each dawn finds her weaker than before.
Dr. Seward notes in his own diary, which Mina later learns about, that the case defies all medical science. He has begun to suspect there is something beyond ordinary anemia at work. Mina spends every waking hour at Lucy's bedside, reading to her, holding her hand, singing the old songs they loved as schoolgirls. Lucy clings to her like a child. In one lucid moment, she whispers, "Mina, promise me you will stay with me. I am so afraid when the sun goes down. Something comes in the dark, something cold and hungry." Mina promises, fighting back tears. She writes in her journal, "My heart is breaking for her. She who was once so full of life and laughter now lies here like a fading flower. The men are doing everything that science and love can do, yet I fear it is not enough. Oh, that I could tell them what Jonathan saw in that terrible castle." 4 September. A brief moment of false hope. Lucy seems stronger after another transfusion. She sits up for a short while and talks dreamily of her coming wedding to Arthur. The men allow themselves a glimmer of optimism. But Mina cannot share their relief. That night, as fog rolls in from the Thames, she hears the bat again, closer, more insistent. Lucy grows restless, her hands clutching at the sheets. The wounds on her throat begin to bleed afresh, a thin trickle of crimson against her white skin. Mina stays awake until dawn, guarding her friend with nothing but love and prayer. She ends the entry with a desperate cry. "If only we knew what enemy we fight! God help us all if this is the same evil that nearly destroyed my Jonathan." Later entries, 5 to 8 September. Mina's journal grows more fragmented as exhaustion sets in. Day after day, the pattern repeats: transfusions, brief rallies, terrifying relapses. Arthur, Seward, and Quincy take turns giving blood until they are pale and weak themselves. Mrs. Westenra, Lucy's mother, is kept in ignorance of the true danger because of her own weak heart. Mina watches with growing horror as Lucy becomes more ethereal, more beautiful in a ghostly way, yet clearly slipping away. The punctures on her throat never fully heal. Strange dreams plague both girls, dreams of red eyes and a commanding voice. In one final heartbreaking passage, Mina writes, "Lucy is fading before our eyes. The men fight bravely with science and courage, but I fear we battle something that science cannot explain. My Jonathan's journal lies sealed, yet its words burn in my memory. If only Professor Van Helsing were here, the man Dr. Seward speaks of with such respect. Perhaps he alone could understand the truth that none of us dare name." The chapter closes on Mina sitting by the window at dawn, watching the first light touch Lucy's pale face, whispering a prayer that feels more and more hopeless with every passing night. That was Chapter 10 of Dracula, a chapter of selfless love, heroic sacrifice, and mounting helplessness. We have watched Mina balance her new marriage with her fierce loyalty to Lucy. We have seen three good men, Arthur, Seward, and Quincy, literally give their lifeblood to save the woman they all love. Yet, despite their courage and Dr. Seward's medical skill, Lucy continues to fade, visited nightly by an evil they cannot name. Bram Stoker masterfully shows the limits of Victorian science and reason when confronted with ancient supernatural forces. The transfusions buy time, but they cannot stop the vampire's slow, deliberate feeding. The journal Mina once sealed with her wedding ring is calling to be reopened. The solemn duty is drawing nearer.
Stay with us for Chapter 11, where the horror escalates, more transfusions are attempted, and the mysterious Professor Abraham Van Helsing finally arrives, bringing with him knowledge that may yet turn the tide or reveal how terrible the battle truly is. Thank you for keeping this sorrowful vigil with Mina. If this chapter moved you to tears or sent chills down your spine, please like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss another page of this immortal Gothic masterpiece. Love and science are fighting bravely, but the undead do not fight fair. Until next time, keep the windows locked and a crucifix close when the bat circles at dusk.